Hello, welcome to Marduk Defensive Basics. Here we're going to give you the quick, most important notes on things to look out for that should help you respond to common tools, mix-ups, strategies, and so on. If you're brand new to Tekken, I've included resource links in the video description below to help you with terminology, etc. I highly recommend going through those before jumping into a guide like this. You'll also notice that we will be using Law for our demonstrations. He's extremely well-rounded with his punishers, crushes, parries, and so on, and he's a medium-sized character which helps show movement options. But be sure to look up your character's punishers and such before going further so that you can easily mentally insert the correct option for your character as we go. With that, let's begin. Marduk is a powerhouse in Tekken 7. He's got the damage, he's got the lows, he's got the power mids, he's got the grabs and the unique tackle, he's got nasty counter hit tools, and now with Season 4, he's so much better with his punishers. That's not even the end of the list. Point is, you'll find that he's strong just about everywhere. Still, he's a bit weak with his crush game and lacks panic tools, and you'll find that much of his stuff comes with considerable risk, either on block or whiff. But if he touches you, you're in for a world of hurt. Marduk is pretty balanced in terms of tracking, so we won't spend much time on this. His best pokes and tools can track both ways, and his moves that only track one direction are varied in which side they track to. Marduk also wants to play a spacing game, which means he is constantly realigning himself, not to mention his primary homing move is really good, long range, mid, that can counter hit launch, so you'll see it quite a bit. You still want to step since this is Tekken, but don't expect to be able to pick one side and be okay. For block punishing, your standing 12 framer is really important here. Down forward 1, down 1+2, and 2 down 1+2, down forward 3, down forward 1, down forward 2, 1, down back 3, 4, and while standing 3 are all in that range and common tools. Down forward 1+2, quarter circle forward 1, and forward 1+2 are all jab punishable, although quarter circle forward 1 has a second hit for cover, but still good to know. Your while standing punishing is similar in that down 3, down back 3, quarter circle forward 2, and forward 3, 2 are all in that -11 range. Since that likely won't yield you a huge reward, it's normally better to low parry these. For riskier moves, forward 3, 2 and VTS forward 2 are both -14. If you have a strong 14 framer, have those at the ready. For lows, absolutely make sure to launch, punish full crouch down forward 4 and VTS down 1+2. Also, his poke strings that end with the kick, for example 1, 2, 3, are -16. Most people try to duck the headbutt follow-up, but if he's not doing that, make sure to launch him for stopping at the kick. Similarly, be very mindful about how you block low. Down 4, his unparryable knee is a super good move, but -16 on block. Good Marduks will mix in lots of down 3 to throw you off, so either go for a parry and hope he does down 3 or some other low, or make sure to confirm carefully that he did down 4 before trying to go for a launch punish. Marduk does not have good poke pressure, so instead he has to build that pressure with his strings. This affects his approach game too, by the way, since he lacks those typical approach tools like generic running 3, so he has to run a simple dash spacing game for his approach. In any case, let's talk about his jabs. 1, 2 is standard, but he has 1, 2, 3 for mid cover, which we just mentioned, or 1, 2 forward 1, which is +4 on block and can launch on counter hit. Most players duck after 1, 2 since 1, 2 forward 1 is strong, and duck punishing it will give you big reward, and 1, 2, 3 doesn't do a whole lot of damage. But he can go to VTS after 1, 2 to throw you off, and ducking all the time means you'll give him back his turn if he ever stops at 1, 2 or just single jab harasses you. A good high crush will come in handy here to beat the jab outright. Down 4, 3 works in a similar manner but gives him a mid start. Down 4, 3, 1 goes to his normal jab options we just mentioned, although note that down 4, 3, 1 is special in that it's +2 on block instead of +1. Although down 4, 3, 1 is a high, don't get too crazy trying to duck it. Down 4, 3, down forward 1 is a mid launcher, and down forward 3, 1, down 2 is a safe mid that comes out fast enough that you'll struggle to even 13 frame duck punish it. Just be patient and wait for your turn. Those are his main 2 strings, but in general be very careful ducking or challenging his strings. Forward 3, 2, down 2, 4, forward 2, down 1, 2, and quarter circle forward 1, 2 are very rewarding mid enders. Too many players hunt for the duck punish on something like down forward 4, 2, so try not to fall into that trap. VTS is similar, although VTS forward 1, 2 is -13, he's still heavily negative on all 3 of his VTS strings, so don't feel like you have to duck against any of them. Again, remember that he has a ton of key tools that are heavily negative on block, meaning you can either punish or take your turn. Marduk's mixes are crazy good, and you're just going to have to accept that from the jump because this is how he's going to get a lot of his damage. Down 3 is the real MVP here. Fast, good range, good tracking, stupid damage for a poke, and only -12. -1 on hit, but you still can't mindlessly swing back at that. And if you're parrying too much, he can switch to down 4. It's riskier, but keeps parries somewhat at bay and does almost as much damage as down 3. The good news is that it's -5 for Marduk on hit, and since down 3 doesn't crush, the best way to stop down 3 is to pressure him back. If he hits you with down 4, just accept the damage and keep swinging. Down back 2 though is a problem. Fast, safe mid, knockdown splat on hit, counter hit launch, and tailspin. So if he catches you trying to low crush him like with a hop kick, he'll still get a juggle out of it. Same speed and roughly the same range as down 3 as well. And being a mid, it'll catch you if you duck. It's just the perfect complementary mid. And overall, he's built from amazing power mids. Back 4 and back 3 are common, as is up forward 3. Up forward 3 and back 3 both counter hit launch right alongside down back 2. So ducking too much is gonna be a nightmare for you. Not to mention, if his tackle hits you ducking, it's significantly harder to break. There are 2 general approaches here. First, as mentioned, go on the offense. Marduk is low on panic moves and lacks lockdown pokes like generic down forward 1. He has to over rely on jabs, his parries, or trying to catch you with a counter hit as you come in. Those last 2 options are very risky for him, so dial up the pressure and occasionally bait out the whiff to keep him on his toes. The second option is to play the spacing game. A lot of Marduk's best moves are really bad on whiff, like the aforementioned down back 2, back 3, etc. But again, due to the heavy negative frames Marduk has to accept, just wait for a mid block and then take your turn. Marduk's wall game is pretty dumb, and most will choose between 2 simple options. The first is to do a combo ending in down back 2. This flips you over, and if you tech roll, it becomes a tackle setup. If you stay there, he can ground throw you. Even if you stay on the ground, the tackle's hitbox can still hit you, and strictly speaking, he doesn't have to do the tackle right away. He can enter VTS, wait a moment to see if you're going to stay on the ground, then take a free VTS 3 or whatever. So this is mostly a pick your poison deal. Most people will tech roll and hope that they can break the tackle. His ground options are so absurd that this is usually your best hope of mitigating damage. The other option is for him to cut the combo short and go straight for a ground throw as part of the wall combo. You can still break it, of course, but the attempt on his end is free. If you guess the 50-50 right, it resets to neutral mostly, but if you guess wrong, it hurts like hell. Really not much you can do in these situations but guess, but what you can do though is at least try to avoid getting splatted in the first place. His best splatters fit right into the heavy negative category we've been talking about, so once again, if you block something that isn't a jab, go ahead and fight your way out of the wall. We already mostly went over Marduk's counter hit stuff, main things being tools like down back 2, back 3, up forward 3, etc. But these are all designed to catch counter hits in the neutral, not to stop pressure, so feel comfortable going on offense against him. He doesn't have a 15 frame hop kick and up forward 3 crushes late, no I-11 or I-12 magic 4, no big damage high crush, nothing like that. He literally only has 2 moves from standing that are faster than 13 frames. His jabs, which includes crouch jab and up forward 1-2. Up forward 1-2 is an amazing punisher, but you can duck the second hit, so if he's using that as an anti-pressure tool, he's taking a big risk. So just be really careful in the neutral and you'll be fine. For grabs, you're really going to have to practice your breaks. Only King really has a better grab game than Marduk. From standing, Duke has multiple 1+2 breaks, one an absurd launcher, another that does good damage and gives him good oki. He has multiple 1 breaks and a 2 break. 2 of these have the option to go into his tackle for potentially even more damage. Plus, he has command 1 and 2 breaks from VTS. All his grabs do good damage, provide him good oki, or both. So again, practice those breaks. He also has the ground throws, which are a true 50-50. If you do read him right though on those and manage to stand up when he goes for one, definitely launch him for the attempt. But let's talk about the tackle. It's a mid hitbox and the break never changes. It's always 1+2, but it's still tough to break because the break window is going to vary depending on how far away he is. And at max range, he does a special slam, which has a very small break window. This is what we mentioned earlier will happen if it hits you ducking. There are a lot of oki traps that involve the max range tackle, so just be prepared to eat a few. Couple tips though. First, note that it has a hitbox at the very end of the animation. You can hop kick him or whatever out of the tackle, but you gotta get to him early. If he messes up the spacing and you block it, or it just whiffs, launch the hell out of him. Second, once in the tackle, he has a 3-way mix-up. What most players do is simply mash between 1 and 2 and then watch for the 1+2. He clutches his hands together for that and brings them over his shoulder. You can't tell the difference between the 1 and 2, but you can differentiate the 1+2. So mash, and if you see the 1+2, let go of the buttons and you'll break it, thus turning it into a 50% chance instead of only 33. And finally, let's do a brief overview on risk taking. First, feel good about turning up the pressure on Marduk. He has essentially 0 panic tools, at least any that you should really fear, and in order to break out of pressure, he has to take a risk with a crouch jab or his parry or a step or something. Second, don't give him too many opportunities to take back turns. With his new up forward 1-2, his block punishing is pretty stupid now, so don't overextend with your risky moves. Keep him on lockdown, and if you happen to play a character with strong fast counter hit tools, keep setting those up. Third, on that note, his fastest while standing launcher is 18 frames, so if you have a good riskier low in that range, feel free to use it more than you normally would. Ironically, Marduk's down 4 is really strong in a mirror match because of this. Fourth, accept that his Oki is dumb. Usually it's not overly complicated since he's been gifted with a ton of situations where down forward 1 will catch all get up options, so his Oki often consists of simply his tackle, his ground throws, and his down forward 1. But believe me, that's enough. Just do your best. And last, just prepare yourself for Marduk to make some comebacks. His defensive tools might be risky, but his offense is overpowered, in large part because of how much damage he gets from everything paired with his stupid Oki to follow up on that damage. He is one of, if not the best comeback characters in the game, so do not get rattled if he gets some comebacks on you. It's just going to happen. And we will leave you with that. The damage and comeback factor of Marduk can definitely be annoying at times, but this can actually be a fun matchup if you play a high pressure or lockdown character, since Marduk lacks easy tools to stop that. Otherwise, if you play patient in the sense that you're not giving him really easy launches and counter hits, you can make it through this matchup. So I wish you the best of luck and keep up the labbing. And with that, thanks for checking out this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications here on YouTube so that you get alerted when a new video drops. Twitch and Twitter links are also down below. Lastly, huge thank you to our patrons. The more support we have, the more resources we can devote to channel content. So again, I can't thank everyone enough for considering supporting the Patreon. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.